tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We're also very closely tracking the story of the Indian student who was brutalized in the United States. Not just this, we'll also get you Indian Army's heartfelt tribute to our Kargil war heroes. On the other side will be Greta Thunberg, who seems to have roped herself in trouble once again. We will tell you exactly what has transpired in Israel. Not just this, in a win that's melting hearts across the nation, women's ice hockey team has skated their way to a historic bronze at the International Ice Hockey Federation's Women's Asia Cup in the UAE. So it's a power-packed show this evening. We are tracking this and a lot more. I am Rakshita and this is Trending Today. So now, after a wait of 41 long years, the tricolour is all set to return to space. And this time, it will fly aboard the International Space Station. And this is, of course, a wait after Rakesh Sharma, who was there in space 41 years ago. Now, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, a decorated test pilot in the Indian Air Force, is all poised to make history as the first Indian astronaut to board the International Space Station. A defining moment not just for him, but for 1.4 billion Indians. It's a journey that has been built on discipline, on courage and on dedication. And Shubhanshu Shukla's path to space began in the cockpits of Indian fighter jets. Now, the seasoned group captain takes his experience from the skies to the stars, higher and higher. As he now prepares to embark on the Axiom 4 space mission tomorrow, the Chief of the Air Staff and all air warriors of the Indian Air Force wished him and the entire crew of the Axiom 4 all the best for a safe and successful trip to the International Space Station. There you have Air Chief Marshal AP Singh, who was interacting today, wishing Group Captain Shukla the very best. Indian Air Force, in fact, had posted this on social media platform X. Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla prepares to embark on Axiom 4 space mission tomorrow. Chief of the Air Staff and all air warriors of IAF wish him and the entire crew of Axiom 4 all the best for a safe and successful trip to the International Space Station. This will add a new chapter to the Indian Space Odyssey. And they conclude by saying, touch the sky with glory. And at NASA's Johnson Space Center, the Axiom 4 crew has undergone months of rigorous preparations. From the survival drills to zero-gravity simulations, every step is designed to ensure mission readiness in the unforgiving environment of space.
What I learned the most, how to keep your senses when things are going wrong and not to let it overwhelm you. After a few episodes of initial exposure to these situations, I think we got a lot better by the end. Today we are at Building 30 of Johnson Space Center, which, as you can see in my background, is called the Mission Control Center. If you would have heard the famous article, Houston, we have a problem. This is the Houston they were talking about. So we have a full team back here on ground who are monitoring each and every of this system all the time. And in case there is a requirement for some kind of maintenance or some kind of intervention, these are the people who monitor this and they alarm the crew.
and even meals in the space are engineered for performance. The crew spend time tasting and selecting from NASA's array of carefully crafted food options, a small but crucial part of life aboard the International Space Station.
Tasting session. So as you see, we have a long list of food items that we had to try and give scores whether we like it, not like it, and based on the feedback that we give today, the food items would be packed and they will be sent to the station for us to consume during our mission. Today was a food tasting session. So as you see, we have a long list of food items that we had to try and give scores whether we like it, not like it, and based on the feedback that we give today, the food items would be packed and they will be sent to the station for us to consume during our mission.
And being a true Indian at heart, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is set to carry the space-adapted Indian delicacies, including the amras, the gajar ka halwa, moong dal halwa, specially developed by the ISRO and the DRDO, customized for him for the Axiom 4 mission. Now, ISRO officials have confirmed that all the meals have been vacuum-packed, freeze-dried and engineered to preserve both taste and nutrition in a zero-gravity environment. In fact, viewers, I also spoke to Shubhanshu Shukla's school teacher just a short while back. Watch this as he reveals what he thinks about Shubhanshu Shukla as an individual, how he was as a student and what he hopes for him. Thank you so much for joining us, and Nageshwar sir, tell us how you're feeling right now. कैसा लग रहा है कि आपके एक स्टूडेंट स्पेस में जाने वाले हैं, आपने उनको बहुत छोटे से देखा है और आज वो एक एयरफोर्स पायलट भी बने और टेस्ट पायलट बने और आज वो एस्ट्रोनॉट बन के भारत का झंडा फहराने जा रहे हैं इंटरनेशनल स्पेस स्टेशन में.
जी मैम, उन्हीं के समर्थन के लिए मैं चारों धाम की यात्रा पे भी गया था और चारों धाम में भगवान से प्रार्थना भी करके हूँ कि मिशन में जो भी जाएं बहुत अच्छी तरीके से उनका मिशन सक्सेस रहे और हम लोगों की जो है भावनाएं, अंतर्मन जो भी कल्पनाएं हैं वो साकार हों, देश का नाम रोशन करे. बच्चा देखे, यदि जो भी प्रोग्रेस करता है वो सबसे पहले जो है माँ बाप के लिए होता ही होता है. गुरु के लिए बहुत अच्छी दक्षिणा होती है, क्योंकि गुरु का जो है उससे कुछ ऐसा ये भाव नहीं होता है कि उससे हमको कुछ मिलना है. वो जो कुछ भी करता है उसके लिए गुरु को सबसे बड़ी खुशी यही होती है कि बच्चा हमारा प्रोग्रेस करता रहे, हम गौरवान्वित होते रहें, देश का नाम रोशन करता रहे बच्चे.
तो इतने करीब से आप जानते हो हाई स्कूल में, तो क्या ये थोड़े शरारती थे या मतलब बिल्कुल अच्छे बच्चे की तरह थे, बहुत डिसिप्लिन थे? मतलब
नहीं, बहुत अच्छे बच्चों में तो नहीं कहेंगे, नटोरियस तो थे मैम, जो है बहुत अच्छे तो नहीं कि बहुत सीधे साधे. हाँ, ये है कि उस समय ये इंटेलिजेंट मैम है, लेकिन इंटेलिजेंट वाला ये है कि हाँ काम चल रहा है, हमारा काम चल जाएगा.
अच्छा.
तो एग्जाम के पर्पस होता है बच्चा की एग्जाम ये लास्ट मोमेंट पे मेहनत करने वाले बच्चे हैं.
अच्छा. तो जैसे हमने देखा कि किस तरह से गगनयान में उनका नाम आया था सबसे पहले 4 एस्ट्रोनॉट्स में से एक, और वो जो है सिलेक्ट हुए गगनयान के लिए पहले. उस वक्त जब ये खबर आई तो आपके जहन में क्या कुछ चला, कैसा लगा था?
इसका देखिए मैम, इसके साले के जो है वो शादी पहले हो गई थी कोरोना काल में, लेकिन कोई फंक्शन नहीं हो पाया था. इसके फादर इन लॉ ने गेट टुगेदर किया था, उसमें इसके हमारी मुलाकात हुई थी.
अच्छा.
तो इसने हमसे बताया, कहा सर जो है हमारा सिलेक्शन लगभग हो गया है, अभी फाइनली जो है अनाउंसमेंट नहीं हुआ, लेकिन मैं इसको जो है डिक्लेयर नहीं कर सकता जब तक कि गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से अनाउंस ना हो.
अच्छा.
तो पहले तो मैम पता तो हमको था ही अंदर से, लेकिन एक जिस दिन माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो है अनाउंस किया तो भाई हम फाइनल तो हम लोग अंदर तो जान ही रहे थे, लेकिन फाइनल मैम उसी दिन. और बाकी उस तरह तक क्यूरियोसिटी होती ही होती है कि जब तक गवर्नमेंट अनाउंस ना करे हम कुछ कह नहीं सकते किसी से.
हाँ, वो तो बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली, वी हैव टू वेट फॉर द ऑफिशियल अनाउंसमेंट. एंड तो जब अनाउंसमेंट हुआ तो आपने उसको क्या कहा, कैसा लगा आपको?
नहीं मैम, मैं तो उस दिन एक्चुअली फोन किया तो फोन उसका पिकअप नहीं हुआ. नेक्स्ट डे हमारी बात हुई इसकी जो है. फिर जो है 2-3 टीवी वाले इंटरव्यू के लिए भी आए थे, उसको भी हमने भेजा कि हाँ ठीक है, ये बोला सर आप देते रहिए. हम कह नहीं, कोई बात होगी तो भाई जो है हमको बता दीजिए कि इसमें कोई मिस्टेक होगी, क्योंकि मैम आपसे 2002 में पास आउट बच्चा है, आज जो है काफी दिन हो गया, तो कुछ चीजें मेमोरी तो पूरी है क्योंकि मिलते बराबर हैं. हम कहे मान लीजिए कोई मिस्टेक हमसे भी बताओ, उसको सुधार दीजिए भाई, हम भी उसको करेक्ट कर देंगे. बोला नहीं सर ठीक है सब जो है.
तो वही मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि किस तरह आपको, आपका रिएक्शन क्या था जब उन्होंने बताया कि उनका सिलेक्शन हो गया है?
मैम रिएक्शन एक गुरु के लिए क्या रिएक्शन, इससे बड़ी बात क्या हो सकती है। मतलब बिल्कुल हृदय आप समझ लिए गदगद हो गया। कितना अंदर से जो है ये होता है, हाँ हमारा पढ़ाया हुआ बच्चा, अच्छा ये भी नहीं कहीं बाहर पढ़ा, क्लास फर्स्ट से लेकर के 12 तक मैम यहीं पढ़ा, स्कूल में ही। ठीक है, हम लोगों के मतलब हम लोगों के गाइडेंस में पढ़ा जो है, और सीधे एनडीए में सिलेक्शन होने के बाद यदि स्थिति में पहुंचा है तो इससे गौरव के क्षण और क्या हो सकते हैं।
तो अभी एग्जामिनेशन में जब उनका नाम आया, पिछले कुछ टाइम से बहुत उनकी ट्रेनिंग चल रही लगातार, तो अभी आपको किस तरह से अभी अंदर से क्या महसूस हो रहा है? क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं घबराहट भी होती है, कहीं ना कहीं एक्साइटमेंट भी होती है, बहुत कुछ चलता है। अभी आपके क्या चल रहा है मन में इसको लेकर, जो कि बस कुछ ही देर बाद?
कोई नहीं, हम लोगों को बच्चे में देखिए इतना कॉन्फिडेंस है, बच्चे में इतना कॉन्फिडेंस, घबराहट वाली मैम कोई बात नहीं है। एवरीथिंग विल बी फाइन। उस मामले में बहुत सारा बच्चा इस मामले में जो है कॉन्फिडेंस हो तो है, पहले और अब में कॉन्फिडेंस गजब का अंतर है जो है। अच्छा, पहले भी जब भाई स्टूडेंट में देखा था, आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत ज्यादा अंतर है।
नागेश्वर जी, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए, और उम्मीद है कि हम सबको फिर से मौका मिलेगा, जो सफलता होगी इस पूरी मिशन की उस पर बातचीत करने के लिए। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। Now, viewers, an Indo-American social entrepreneur has shared a shocking video shared on X showing an Indian student being handcuffed and pinned to the floor. The incident took place at the USA's Newark Airport before he was deported. The American entrepreneur, who is of Indian origin, mentions in his post that the student was treated like a criminal by the authorities. Watch this 20-second clip, which in fact just shows a part of that horrific incident.
That our agency has under control, it's not actively resisting anymore. Roger that our agency has under control, it's not actively resisting anymore. Roger that our agency has under control, it's not actively resisting anymore.
So according to Kunal, the Indian student was supposed to board a flight last night, but he never did. Now Kunal Jain claims that the student was based out of Haryana, and he said, and I quote, he quotes him as saying that I'm not mad, these people are trying to prove me mad. He was saying all this in Hindi, that ये लोग मुझे पागल साबित करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, मैं पागल नहीं हूँ. Ministry of External Affairs, meanwhile, has now summoned US Embassy to raise the concern. In fact, Indian mission in DC has also taken it up with the State Department. And now I'm being joined by Kunal Jain, who is now in Jaipur. He's back home in India, and he was the one who was an eyewitness to this police brutality and also shared this video. Kunal, if you could just recount quickly for us what really happened, what all did you see?
So what you see on the camera, this is what I exactly saw. But I saw more than that, which I could not record it. I wish I could have recorded everything. But this was very unfortunate incident which happened in front of me. And the worst part is there were like 50, 60 or maybe 100 people who were standing with me in the queue, and no one was even paying attention except that they were like terrified what is happening near them. And when I tried to inquire, I asked them, they said, no, you're not allowed to this area, you just stay away. So then I started reporting it, and I said this needs to be kind of, handled in a way where I can only express my views, my public views, what I saw. So I captured this video, and my intention was very simple, that if this guy is in distress, being Indian, he should either get some type of relief. Somebody should be able to reach out to him and understand why they are being so brutal to him, because he was not that violent. Like police would really pin him down. All he was doing is hitting his head with the wall, and he was saying, "मैं पागल नहीं हूँ, मुझे पागल मत बनाओ." That's the only thing. उससे, and I think that thing make me realize कि probably he would have arrived in the United States in the morning, and at the time of port of entry when his interview was happening, some officer, immigration officer, was against the purpose of his visit or his travel. So which happens all the time, that people land to United States after even having a legal visa, but at the port of entry, if they are not able to convince the authorities the purpose of their visit, they send them back. I remember the same incident happened with my sister even 10 years ago, and she had to come back. The only difference is she was not violent, so they just let her go peacefully, but they sent her into the same flight in the evening. So the only thing that surprises me now, and which you answer, now the Indian embassy is calling U.S. embassy that why they are not giving any details of this person. And that's what I was worried, because the pilot said they cannot board this young man because he was violent. They can't take the risk of life with the other passengers.
Right.
So they could not board this young man. So when they could not board this young man, I boarded the plane, so I was very worried and inquired inside the plane that why he is not kind of taken with us. And
yes,
so that's what worries me. But I think I don't know what they are doing right now as of this moment. We should have more updates from Indian embassy.
Absolutely, we're waiting for that, and we just had that they've taken up the matter, of course. Thank you so much for the moment, Mr. Kunal Jain, for joining us, and in fact raising this issue as very important. Viewers, now we shift our focus to the other story. The Indian Army is paying a heartfelt tribute to the families of the Kargil war heroes, visiting their homes to honor their memory. On the 10th of June, today, that is, the Army marked the 26th anniversary. In fact, the commemoration has begun for the 26th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Divas by paying respects to Captain Vijayan Thapar's family in Noida. And officers and soldiers presented his parents, Colonel V.N. Thapar, and his mother, Tripta Thapar, with a commemorative memento. And in fact, I'm now being joined by Colonel V.N. Thapar himself, a proud father indeed. Thank you so much, Colonel Thapar, for joining us on Republic TV. And of course, every year, we all remember our Kargil heroes. And, Captain Thapar was a young man, 22-year-old, who laid down his life. We remember how he wrote that letter to you, the last letter, and he spoke about, you should come here and visit where he fought for the country. How do you remember him today as we once again pay tribute to the one who made the supreme sacrifice?
No, you see, the point is that this memento that has been sent by GOC 8 Mountain Division is very beautiful, but it's not just a piece of decoration that has been sent. Behind it lies the love and the spirit of being a family member for the whole lot of troops who are fighting over there. They remember him, and that is a big thing for us, really speaking, because in the race for life, otherwise, people are likely to forget. But these are the kind of actions that always keep him in everybody's mind. So we are very happy.
Absolutely, Colonel Thapar. We all remember him and the supreme sacrifice and his very inspiring story, of course, sir. And, it's very important when India continues to fight against the enemy, the sacrifices of our such courageous soldiers is important to remember that. But we have the limited time on this show. But thank you so much. We have to close in there, Colonel Thapar. Thank you so much. And viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of What's Trending Today. We'll be right back with the Super Prime Time debate with Arnab Goswami at 8 p.m.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड भी, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM. दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
विमल में गुलिस्तान की ये कुछ लजीज फरिश्ते जब साथ घुले तो जी ललचाए और दिल कहे कि स्वाद की इस जुबान में खुद को ऐसा डुबाऊं कि निकल ना पाऊं। विमल की जुबान कुछ है ही ऐसी, मानते हैं ना? विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Mahi sir, how much do you love your fans?
Honestly, I love my new fans. पुराने वाले बेकार में शोर करते
सर फैंस हैं, शोर तो करेंगे ही ना।
नए वाले नहीं करते and they listen to what I say.
The new generation Orient BLDC fans, super silent performance with voice control.
सिली में आए तो और
Cricket fans.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with a comment on the murder of Raja Raghuvanshi, who was killed by his wife Sonam Raghuvanshi just 11 days after their wedding. And the first comment I wish to make in this matter is that people should stop referring to it as the Meghalaya murder mystery. That is so wrong. Meghalaya, a beautiful state, a wonderful state with peaceful and kind and generous people. Meghalaya has nothing to do with the quote-unquote murder mystery. This is a murder which could have happened anywhere in Uttar Pradesh or in Delhi. Meghalaya has nothing to do with it. And I want to begin by saying this, and as someone who has spent a lot of time in Meghalaya and has been a student of St. Edmunds, Shillong, I feel so terrible, and as someone from the Northeast myself, at the stereotyping that's been going on over the last few days, linking Meghalaya to the murder mystery. It's so wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We owe an apology to the people of Meghalaya. The fact of the matter is, if there is any one question which emerges as a result of the most tragic and brutal killing of Raja Raghuvanshi by his wife, then we need to be clear about what that question is. That question is about brutalities against men. What is never spoken about, where men are seen to be only the perpetrators of violence in a relationship or in marriage, but can never be seen to be the victims. And if there is anything we need to consider here, it is the fact that this is an arranged marriage, which means that Sonam Raghuvanshi agreed to marry Raja Raghuvanshi. Nobody forced her into it. She was absolutely pretending to be happy on the day of the wedding. She chose to go into an arranged marriage with the intention of killing this man, of killing her husband, which just shows how cold-blooded her thinking has been. She made him wear jewelry, diamonds and gold worth over 10 lakh rupees when they left for their honeymoon. Now, who does that? Which means she intended to kill him and take away everything that he had from his corpse or from him before he died. She wanted to make money by marrying him and then by killing him. The fact that she was clear about wanting to kill the man she married 10 days back is evident from the fact that she never booked return tickets from Meghalaya, which means she knew that for the man she'd married a week earlier, it would be a one-way trip, that she would kill him. The trek they planned to go on was planned in advance, and she had told her boyfriend/lover to bring 3 people to help kill Raja Raghuvanshi. She hired contract killers, she brought them over, and she got together with this man and his accomplices to kill her husband. Now, viewers, ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with a comment on the murder of Raja Raghuvanshi, who was killed by his wife Sonam Raghuvanshi just 11 days after their wedding. And the first comment I wish to make in this matter is that people should stop referring to it as the Meghalaya murder mystery. That is so wrong. Meghalaya, a beautiful state, a wonderful state with peaceful and kind and generous people. Meghalaya has nothing to do with the quote-unquote murder mystery. This is a murder which could have happened anywhere in Uttar Pradesh or in Delhi. Meghalaya has nothing to do with it. And I want to begin by saying this, and as someone who has spent a lot of time in Meghalaya and has been a student of St. Edmunds, Shillong, I feel so terrible, and as someone from the Northeast myself, at the stereotyping that's been going on over the last few days, linking Meghalaya to the murder mystery. It's so wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We owe an apology to the people of Meghalaya. The fact of the matter is, if there is any one question which emerges as a result of the most tragic and brutal killing of Raja Raghuvanshi by his wife, then we need to be clear about what that question is. That question is about brutalities against men, what is never spoken about, where men are seen to be only the perpetrators of violence in a relationship or in marriage, but can never be seen to be the victims. And if there is anything we need to consider here, it is the fact that this is an arranged marriage, which means that Sonam Raghuvanshi agreed to marry Raja Raghuvanshi. Nobody forced her into it. She was absolutely...
Republic accessed the exclusive documents which show that the Singapore vessel was carrying hazardous substances for crew members still missing. External Affairs Minister has warned up, asserting that there will be retribution against the terrorist outfits and their leaders in case barbaric attacks like the Pahalgam attack continues. 92 illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators apprehended in one day in the national capital. Operation Pushback continues. Chief of the Air Staff and all Air Warriors of the Indian Air Force wishes Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla as he prepares to embark on Axiom 4 space mission tomorrow. At least 8 people were killed and several others injured in a shooting at a school in the Austrian city of Graz.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with a comment on the murder of Raja Raghuvanshi, who was killed by his wife, Sonam Raghuvanshi, just 11 days after their wedding. And the first comment I wish to make in this matter is that people should stop referring to it as the Meghalaya murder mystery. That is so wrong. Meghalaya, a beautiful state, a wonderful state with peaceful and kind and generous people. Meghalaya has nothing to do with the quote-unquote murder mystery. This is a murder which could have happened anywhere in Uttar Pradesh or in Delhi. Meghalaya has nothing to do with it. And I want to begin by saying this, and as someone who has spent a lot of time in Meghalaya and has been a student of St. Edmunds, Shillong, I feel so terrible, and as someone from the Northeast myself, at the stereotyping that's been going on over the last few days, linking Meghalaya to the murder mystery. It's so wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We owe an apology to the people of Meghalaya. The fact of the matter is, if there is any one question which emerges as a result of the most tragic and brutal killing of Raja Raghuvanshi by his wife, then we need to be clear about what that question is. That question is about brutalities against men, what is never spoken about, where men are seen to be only the perpetrators of violence in a relationship or in marriage, but can never be seen to be the victims. And if there is anything we need to consider here, it is the fact that this is an arranged marriage, which means that Sonam Raghuvanshi agreed to marry Raja Raghuvanshi. Nobody forced her into it. She was absolutely pretending to be happy on the day of the wedding. She chose to go into an arranged marriage with the intention of killing this man, of killing her husband, which just shows how cold-blooded her thinking has been. She made him wear jewelry, diamonds and gold worth over 10 lakh rupees when they left for their honeymoon. Now, who does that? Which means she intended to kill him, and take away everything that he had from his corpse or from him before he died. She wanted to make money by marrying him and then by killing him. The fact that she was clear about wanting to kill the man she married 10 days back is evident from the fact that she never booked return tickets from Meghalaya, which means she knew that for the man she'd married a week earlier, it would be a one-way trip, that she would kill him. The trek they planned to go on was planned in advance, and she had told her boyfriend/lover to bring 3 people to help kill Raja Raghuvanshi. She hired
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate. Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
On the show tonight, we have with us Air Commodore Ravish Malhotra of the historic space mission of 1984, as we stand on the brink of a historic leap in our space journey with Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla of the Indian Air Force, poised to take off tomorrow. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, the unmissable exclusive with Union Minister Hardeep Puri decoding 11 years of PM Modi-led NDA government. And at 9 o'clock tonight, the story which has raised many questions of the burning ship. Now, there's this burning ship off the Kerala coast, and it's full of explosives. It was heading to Mumbai. Who was the consignment for? What's the mystery? And why is the government not sharing more details about the mystery burning ship? And ladies and gentlemen, we are in the countdown mode still for the takeoff from the Kennedy Space Center of Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla, who is a Gaganyaan astronaut designate, who is going to become tomorrow this time the first Indian to take off to visit the International Space Station, and he's also going to be only the second Indian in space since Rakesh Sharma, excuse me, in 1984. So tomorrow this happens, and it's going to be 41 years since Rakesh Sharma took off, which shows ISRO's bold vision, the second Indian in space. This is part of the very, very ambitious Gaganyaan program, which is slated for 2027, which is going to be India's huge achievement in manned global space exploration. And when tomorrow Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla is seen here with his mates from space, when he takes off tomorrow, it's going to be that inflection point. So ladies and gentlemen, all the best for Subhangshu Shukla. And I will have with me a very special guest, Air Commodore Ravish Malhotra. All of us who remember was part of the first space-trained crew of the country in 1984. He's joining us. Is he there? Let me see my childhood hero on the screen. Oh my God. Goosebumps, sir, goosebumps, 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 sir. Goosebumps, sir. I was in like class 3 maybe when that happened, and I can never get over that moment. You don't know what you mean to all of us, sir. You're amazing. I thank you for joining us today. And before
Thank you, Arnav.
Oh my God. Sir, before we start with you and so many questions, and yes, we are opening calls to this great man today. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick report on where the story of Subhangshu Shukla's takeoff stands as of tonight.
In the next 24 hours, India is set to create history. Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla is all set to take off as part of the AX-4 mission and become India's second ever astronaut in space. This after a gap of 41 years. Not just that, Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla is designated as the mission pilot and will script history by becoming the first Indian on board the International Space Station. The mission that was originally scheduled to launch this evening was rescheduled last night due to high wind conditions. The AX-4 mission will now take off tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The countdown has begun, and if it all goes right, NASA, Axiom and SpaceX are targeting a launch window at around 5:30 p.m. IST. 2 minutes into the flight, the main engine will cut off, after which the booster stage of the Falcon 9 will make its iconic re-entry into the atmosphere. By 5:38 p.m., the second engine will be cut off and Group Captain Subhangshu Shukla along with his crew will be in orbital trajectory for the ISS. Early morning on June 12th, the Dragon capsule will trigger its burners to align with the ISS. And by 9:30 p.m., we are expected to experience the space docking of the Dragon on the ISS's Harmony module port. The entire nation is watching with bated breath, as another son of the soil is set to script history for India's Gaganyaan ambition.
He was a fighter pilot in one of the squadrons where we were posted together, and he's been an awesome person to know. He's been great right from the very beginning. And now when I've seen him, I've known him for a very long time, and now when I see Subhangshu poised on the cusp of history, well, all I can say is. Makes me feel immensely proud as an Indian, makes me feel immensely proud as an Air Force officer, and all the very best to him for his trip to the ISS.
And इससे बड़ी बात क्या हो सकती है? मतलब बिल्कुल हृदय आप समझ लिए गदगद हो गया, कितना अंदर से जो है ये होता है हाँ हमारा पढ़ाया हुआ बच्चा, अच्छा ये भी नहीं कहीं बाहर पढ़ा, क्लास फर्स्ट से लेकर के 12 तक मैम यहीं पढ़ा स्कूल में ही, ठीक है, हम लोगों के मतलब हम लोगों के गाइडेंस में पढ़ा जो है, और सीधे एनडीए में सिलेक्शन होने के बाद यदि स्थिति में पहुंचा है तो इससे गौरव के क्षण और क्या हो सकते हैं.
On board the ISS, Subhangshu Shukla will stay for 14 days and conduct 7 experiments designed by Indian scientists in microgravity. Subhangshu Shukla's mission will also give India some critical information for our very own Gaganyaan mission. The countdown has begun, and now all eyes are on Kennedy Space Center as 1.4 billion hearts beat together with pride and prayer for the success of Subhangshu Shukla.
And we're opening up to calls. I have a great panel. I have with me Dr. Rehman Jahangir. He's the first Iranian American in space. He's a space traveler and he's a cardiologist. He's an expert in cardio-oncology and space medicine, collaborates with NASA on space health research, and he flew on Blue Origin's New Shepard 26 on August 29, 2024. Thank you, Dr. Jahangir. And we have Dr. Simon Evans. He's co-founder and chairman of the UK Space Life and Biomedical Sciences. He's director of Blue Abyss and Human Space Flight. He's a specialist in that. He's former head of medical projects at the European Astronaut Center in Cologne. Thank you so much, Dr. Simon Evans. And of course, we have our very own William Selvamurthy, president of the Amity Science, Technology and Innovation Foundation, director general for the Amity Directorate of Science and Innovation. And he's been associated with ISRO in the past, and he's a great contributor to India's space research. I have a great panel. Okay, so gentlemen, we are going to open up to calls, but I must speak to my childhood hero first, and that is Ravish Malhotra. So, we used to have these black and white TVs. Some of us got some color TVs. And then we stood and we watched in awe as these two young men, Rakesh Sharma and Ravish Malhotra, made us proud. And when we saw you, we felt we could do anything as a country. 1980s was very different, sir. The whole world said, India, developing nation, long way to go. But you did it. You made us feel that we could achieve everything. And so you're amazing. And it's a pleasure and privilege to have you on the program from London. Sir, your thoughts before tomorrow. Your thoughts before tomorrow, sir.
First of all, Arnab, I want to thank you for inviting me on your program. And I'm sure we are all so proud of Subhanshu, the young test pilot from my old unit, which is the Aircraft and Systems Testing Establishment. I would also like to congratulate ISRO at this point in time, who have worked so very hard to train our 4 astronauts, Gagannauts, and one of whom is now all set to fly to the International Space Station tomorrow evening at about 5:30 Indian Standard Time. And my thoughts are that I think he's going to be carving a new chapter in our endeavor to conquer space. And really speaking, he will be a pioneer leading the way for other Indians to achieve. And I think this is the first time that an Indian is going up to the International Space Station. Earlier on, our flight that was in 1984 was on the Soyuz, and we went up to Mir, which is a Russian space station at that point in time. And I think we are all looking forward to this particular flight that will take place tomorrow evening.
Absolutely. There's going to be tons of learning in this. I would like to go to Dr. Simon Evans. And viewers, we're opening up calls tonight because there's been so much pressure from so many of you. You're all saying, Arnab, why don't you talk a little less, let the experts speak a little more. So I'm going to do that tonight. Dr. Simon Evans, this is part of India's overall program towards Gaganyaan, our manned space mission, and towards building India's, it's our own station in space by 2035. Can you put tomorrow's in perspective? You know, what is the significance of an Indian going into space as part of building our own mission to space, our manned mission to space? Dr. Simon, please.
Well, first of all, thank you from Blue Abyss for allowing us to be on this panel, and I apologise for the fact that the Blue Abyss logo isn't in full behind me. But it's important. This is a significant endeavour. When you look at human spaceflight is a very international and very complex activity. It requires engagement with multiple organisations, both governments and private commercial organisations. It requires long lead times. A lot of specific activities have to act and occur in order. If we look at training, the training of the individuals involved requires them to be flying around the world, undertaking different activities at different times. So the complexity of a human spaceflight program is such that something like this, Axiom 4, is a great precursor. It's more than a dry run. It is the start of an understanding of what is required to participate successfully and to bring about such complex endeavors. So it's in effect, it's the start of the Gaganyaan program.
So, okay, so Dr. Jahangir, can you tell us about your experience when you flew out? What was your experience like? And do you think it's necessary for anyone who's going to be part of a Gaganyaan kind of project or a manned project of the government of India, for at least some of its members to have real life experience, which Subhanshu is going to get? Can you unmute yourself, Dr. Jahangir, please? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear. Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm Dr. Iman Jahangir. I'm a cardiologist here in the United States and flew to space with Blue Origin. And I would agree completely with you that this is both the beginning of a new era for the Indian Space Research Organization, and also that you do need to have someone with expertise to go to space with you. For instance, on the Axiom mission, Peggy Whitson, who's a former NASA astronaut, is flying. And now Captain Shukla will have that experience and that expertise that he can bring back to ISRO as you guys fly the Gaganyaan here in 2027, and then from there have your own space station. So it's absolutely necessary to have someone when you're doing an orbital flight that is experienced, particularly when you're going to spend weeks up there like they are on the International Space Station.
So what does this experience bring to the table? I want to go back to Dr. Simon Evetts and then back to you before I go to Dr. William Selvamurthy on this. What does this real-life experience mean, Dr. Evetts? Why is it so necessary? In this day and age, the argument would be you have simulators, you can perfect everything, replicate a situation. What's the difference between that and the actual experience?
Well, if you take a look at experiencing a space mission such as the one that's about to happen, a fair bit has to be learned. There's a number of months of training, a number of activities. But when you look at career astronauts who have spent many years training and preparation, they have got a fluidity and an understanding of activities, both planned and unplanned, that enables them to be able to sort out emergency situations quickly and easily and effectively, which someone with a certain degree of training, but not as much training, would have more difficulty to do. But beyond that, there's also a great deal of operational activities, of different items of equipment, of different procedures that an experienced astronaut will have done in the past and will have prepared for. That means they are able to take the lead when a need is needed. That's not to detract from short duration astronauts such as Group Captain Shukla, because they have got some very specific skill sets that they've now gathered as a result of the mission, and they have started a journey of becoming a highly professional and highly skilled individual who will go on to support future space missions in the future.
Dr. Jahangir, is it, how difficult is it? Again, another layman question. How difficult is it to prepare to go to space? Say from the time when Air Commodore Ravish Malhotra was preparing in 1984 to now, how much have things changed? Has it become much easier? Can you actually think, can any regularly fit persons aspire to go to space after, say, 6 months of training, or is it much more complicated than that?
So I absolutely think, and we've demonstrated, that someone who has trained less can go to space for short duration missions. If you're going to go up there for 3 to 4 days, maybe even 7 days, it's possible. But the difference is in someone like Captain Shukla or anybody who's going to be going on the space station is if you're going to be living in space for even 2 weeks or up to 6 months or a year, that you really do need to understand how things work. One, to maintain life, because everything is on that capsule or on that space station that's keeping you alive, and also when things go wrong. And I will say, it is different to do a simulation than to actually sit on top of a rocket and get ready to launch. I think that we all can imagine what it would be like, but until you're sitting on top of that rocket and the thing fires, and you realize you're sitting on a rocket that's going to space, it's a very different experience. And
what was it like for you?
Getting into space,
what was it like for you?
I think it's very invaluable for Mr. Shukla to be going.
What was it like for you, Dr. Jahangir?
Sorry.
What was it like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, to me, it was a 20-year dream that I've been working towards. And so to finally be able to see the Earth from space was unlike anything I could imagine. It was a beautiful view, and also makes me realize just how fragile everyone here on Earth is and how we should really work together as a society, both not only in space, but geopolitically or education-wise, but anything you can think of, that it's very important for us to all stick together.
Okay, we have a number of callers, and I'm going to let our callers speak directly to our guests. William Selvamurthy ji, good evening. You are trained in every aspect of space, including space physiology. So, this particular mission, what does it guarantee in the run-up to Gaganyaan? I'll ask you this question and then I'll open up to guests. This is so essential to Gaganyaan, isn't it? That everything goes, as they say, tickety-boo on this in the run-up to Gaganyaan.
Arnab, first of all, thank you for inviting me in the panel of such a galaxy of eminent space experienced luminaries here. And for an aspirational India moving towards Viksit Bharat, this is a very important milestone in the history of Indian space research, that we are going to have the second, Indian in space and the first Indian in the International Space Station. So it's a historic moment for all of us. And also that Group Captain Shukla is one of the best test pilots, and we are very proud that he is going to be there tomorrow. He is going to be moving towards the space station, and we wish him all the best, that everything he has planned for the experimentation to be done in the International Space Station goes well. So we wish him good luck. So coming to the question which you asked, the Gaganyaan is a very important aspirational program which India is launching, the human space flight which we have planned. And this is yet another important step towards learning so much about what are the experiences of an astronaut or a Gaganaut in space. So, and then he is going to practice yoga over there, which is an ancient Indian culture and wisdom. So this is yet another important thing, yoga to be taken. Our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has been propagating yoga across the globe. So he is now taking this through this ISRO to space, and he will be practicing yogic asanas, pranayam, meditation to keep him good, and then also to do experiments. And he is going to do a lot of experiments like human physiology, sleep, wearables, and also the sprouts and germination of the seed. And also he will be looking at how do we grow the microalgae in low gravity environment, the gene expression. So a lot of the scientific agenda is there on plate for him, and I'm sure he will do very well. We are all looking towards that.
Yeah.
But the question which you asked, that is it possible for now a common man to reach there? Yes, it's much easier than maybe 50 years ago. Because the process of selection, the training, and also the ergonomic design of the spacecraft, the life support technologies, and also the food, everything now has evolved so much on the human factors. So I'm sure that even after some time, the fit individuals can travel to space, and this would be yet another step towards that direction. But there are certain thresholds to be met by a Gagan Yatri or the astronaut going to space, that you need to meet certain standards, physical, physiological, psychological standards, which I'm sure you will be able to select them. Now with the application of artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, the process of selection, the method of intensive training to be given, can all be reduced in terms of time.
Okay.
So I think it is easy for human space mission to the International Space Station.
Absolutely. And our first caller from Amargarh in Punjab is Somesh. Somesh, go ahead, please. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Arnab. How are you? I want to congratulate everybody. Whatever India, our country, has achieved in the field of space or going to achieve through Gaganyaan is a matter of pride for us.
Oh, yes.
But I want to caution here that India going to be a superpower in the field of space. Do you think that countries like China will tolerate India to sit alongside them? Won't they use their proxy like Pakistan?
Okay. Samesh, see, I'll let Ravish Malhotra take that. Can China tolerate India? I mean, I guess they don't have a choice. But Ravish Malhotra, you can take that.
You know, I think India is carving out its own history in space, and nobody can stop us. You know, with the amount of experience that ISRO has, the amount of satellites that we've sent up, and now we are making sure that the Gaganyaan mission, when it goes up in 2027, that it'll be without any glitch whatsoever. The amount of training that the astronauts have gone through, and both physiological as well as otherwise. And I think we are fully prepared to take on this mission. And as it is, I think ISRO is planning, we have plans to put our own space station up there sometime in 2030, 2035. So it's something that the world will have to accept.
Yep. Of course, and nobody could stop India from landing from soft landing on the moon's south pole, when Chandrayaan 3 made history. So no other country can stop us. Uday from Jammu. Uday.
Sir, good evening, Arnab.
Good
evening. And my greetings to all the panelists, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have a question. Like, as of now, we have 2 persons in space, both Wing Commander Rakesh and Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla.
Yeah.
Both trace their paths from NDA to Air Force to space. Will in the future there be other mode of recruitment when the common man will be able to make it to space to become astronaut?
Okay.
I have this question.
Okay, I'll let Ravish Malhotra only answer that. It's relevant to that. Commodore Malhotra. The question is, you got the question that is there a way anybody else who's not from the National Defense Academy or Air Force to space route, rather not through the Indian Air Force? Is there any other route for people to fly?
In fact, right in the beginning, when I visited ISRO, this is about 3.5, 4 years ago, as the Gaganyaan mission was being announced.
Yes, sir.
I had spoken to a whole bunch of engineers at ISRO, young ladies as well as young engineers,
yes,
young men.
Yes, sir.
And I told them that there will be a time, at some point in time, when some of you will be on that flight. Because today also, when you have 4 of these gentlemen going, I mean, 3 gentlemen along with Peggy, 2 of them are researchers. So likewise, you can have engineers on board for space missions in the future. And India will definitely have a look at how this can be done. And it is possible.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Dr. Manoharan is calling from Thanjavur. Dr. Manoharan.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Hi,
hello,
sir.
good evening, panelists. Yeah, I'm an architect. I am doing my research in environment psychology in confined spaces. So my point is that how our astronauts are prepared for the untoward incidents where they can psychologically well prepared, where they can be able to safeguard themselves as well as the mission.
Okay.
And
I got
also
that.
how the memory association helps them to overcome all these things.
Okay, let me put that question to Dr. Simon Evans, please. The question comes from Thanjavur in Tamil Nadu, sir. And the question is, how do astronauts prepare for exigencies that they may have to deal with? That's a very broad question. Would you like to take that, Dr. Evans?
Sure, yes. And the answer actually comes in 2 phases. The first phase is the choice of who will be an astronaut. The selection programs that are pursued are extremely detailed, and they look very, very carefully over quite a number of different tests and evaluations into the psychological profile and traits of an individual to see whether they are the right sort of person to be able to be appropriately and optimally behave in these stressful circumstances and in emergency circumstances. So there's the preparation, choosing the right person that would have a very good chance of being successfully going through such a situation. And then the second thing is the training. Once the individuals have been selected to be an astronaut, they are trained, they are taken through simulations that are increasingly high fidelity and close to actual emergency events and scenarios, so that when it comes to a situation that is an emergency, it's very familiar to them. They have muscle and cognitive memory that enables them to go through the necessary procedures quickly, effectively and efficiently without panicking, and all being well, then successfully move through that emergency. So it's selection and it's training.
Yes. From the questions, I'm sure Dr. Evans and everyone watching the program is seeing the level of involvement and excitement. And I think one of the reasons why India achieves the impossible in space is because so many dreams are powering it. You have 140 crore Indians. You know, that's 1,400 million Indians pushing this. And that's why I think it's going to be possible. Also because space represents what we feel we were denied, and now we feel that we are pushing the final frontier. So every achievement is celebrated in a huge way, huge way. Such an exciting moment, ladies and gentlemen. And we do it at much less cost. You know, China spent more than double of what we spent in Chandrayaan 3. NASA's Artemis 1 cost them 4.1 billion for a single uncrewed lunar mission. Chandrayaan 3 was 75 million. That's less than half of what Russia's Luna 25 in 2023 cost them, but that crash landed. So we can do it at a cost advantage, not just about cost, it's also about what we want to achieve. Jayaraman is calling from Chennai. Jayaraman.
Good evening, Arnab, and your panel. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
See, last time Rakesh Sharma went to space, he did some experiments there. Is there any follow-up which has been done? Number one. And Rakesh Sharma did some experiments in metallurgy for making perfect alloys. No, with a crucible-less experiment. But I don't know what has happened there. Any idea? Somebody is following it up? Not much of media reports are there on that. That is what I want to know.
Okay, I'll let Dr. Selvamurthy take that. He may know.
Yeah. I think the Rakesh Sharma's 1984, the space, the sojourn, along with the cosmonauts, was a great experience for us. Like Indian space food from the Defense Food Research Laboratory was tested over there. So making a space food, it needs rigorous standards. And then how do you package them? How do you handle the waste materials of the food packets? So all this food is one learning experience. The second is how do you minimize the muscle wastage? So he was doing the isometric yogic asanas over there. So the Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma did practice yogic exercises as well as pranayam, the breathing exercise, which helped him to keep fit, lively, and also meet all the mission objectives. So I think these are certain lessons we learned, and also the ergonomic design and the space suit design. So we learned many things from that experience, which is now useful in this mission as well as the Gaganyaan. Okay. So every mission you have a learning, and this mission will also be a learning for all of us. And we do follow up from all that what we learned in each mission. It is followed up very rigorously, and then it is documented properly so that it's for posterity, for learning experience, for successive missions.
Yes.
These are being utilized.
Okay, thank you. Surendra from Bhavnagar in Gujarat.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Surendra ji.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Arnab, for your questions.
Sir.
My question is Dr. Ravindra Malhotra.
Ravish Malhotra.
Yes. Yes, sir, we have a NASA. NASA is arranging this space program, and we have a ISRO is a big name in the world. And we have many scientists are working in this, but why should it take 41 years from Rakesh Sharma to Subhanshu Shukla to take off?
Okay,